What's up, Think Tank? We are gearing up to go to MagicCon Chicago, and we are super excited. You know what they say about Chicago? If you really don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. Welcome to Head Games. Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is the Zombie Apocalypse, and if you read my name and the bean in Chicago, it'll just say Steve.
Hey there, gang. I'm Jetterex, animal enthusiast of all kinds, bulls, bears, and of course, White Sox. In the Windy City, they call me Tim.
I heard the White Sox are the most ferocious animal on the list.
You got to be really careful around them. It's true.
It's very true. Anyway, thank you for joining us today on the Head Games Commander podcast, where we talk about the Magic the Gathering Commander format. So, Tim, what are we talking about in this painstakingly crafted 500-word script, which, by the way, is a short one for us?
Well, today it is time for our annual tradition of discussing our preparation for MagicCon. If you hadn't figured that out already. This year, like last year, the first quarter convention is in Chicago. Last year, we decompressed with y'all after the event. So this year, we're going to talk about the beforehand. We're going to talk about our preparation, our expectations, our most cherished outcomes. And we're going to start by looking back, kind of reviewing the goals that we set for ourselves after we got back from MagicCon Chicago last year, which is kind of a fascinating thing for Zombie and I to unpack now, because we kind of brainstormed the idea behind the Head Games channel after the last MagicCon. So to recap what we kind of came up with at the time, we announced kind of vaguely at that time that we were going to look at creating a new channel called Head Games with a more unified purpose, that we were going to try to work on developing different shows on that channel, including the Commander podcast we're doing right now, arena content, Commander content like Commander with Randos, and hopefully sometimes Commander with Friends.
Yep.
We talked about trying to stream on the new channel. We also had set out the goal of kind of working towards getting those creator badges for MagicCon. So how do you feel about what we've done in the last year? What are your thoughts about Head Games as a channel, the progress we've made, etc.?
Honestly, I think we've been doing a pretty solid job across the board on a lot of the things. I really wish I had more time in the day that I could find time to edit Commander with Randos, because I feel like we have like a really good synergy with just random people, and we're able to make pretty interesting content with those people. But the time that it takes to edit those, and just being an adult with a full-time job and raising children and stuff, it's difficult to find some time to squeeze in that. Like, I'm talking like an hour and a half videos taking like 20-30 hours to edit. Like, it's crazy. So maybe someday soon we'll be able to get back into it. But I should start streaming Commander with Randos on that channel, shouldn't I? I think it would be pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it's just fascinating to kind of reflect back on the journey so far, right? In that, we are, for the listeners, like we're amateurs in just about every way that you can be. We're not amateur Magic players. We've both been playing for decades at this point. We've both been avid Commander players for an incredibly long time, really, just about since the format's inception. And we're really kind of active in as players. I play Arena a lot. We both play Commander a lot. We both are invested in the game, but really we're also adult human beings with responsibilities, keys, and credit cards. And those things eat up a significant amount of time, makes it difficult for us to focus on this. So when we put it in the context of the actual amount of time we have to devote to this, I feel great about where we've come over the course of the past year. We've really kind of solidified some images and some branding and things of that nature, enough so that we're now carrying that forward into this next MagicCon, which that's a really neat thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm excited to start handing out some business cards with the Head Games logo. I'm looking forward to people like, oh, those matching play mats are really cool. what's that about? Like, I just
Right.
think we got the sleep, we got the drip. I just need to make a shirt now.
Gross.
Isn't that what the kids say these days?
I guess I'm an old fart too much to really know any of that
Really?
noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that like as far as the goals go, I really do think that we've, over the last year, we've figured out how to start developing some consistency with the content. And we are not at a point in our lives where, doing daily videos is a realistic thing at
Oh,
all.
absolutely not.
But we are, dropping content every week or so now,
Mhm.
and I think that that's pretty impressive considering the amount of effort and energy it takes to get the videos up. So, starting to get some traction, starting to
Yeah.
get some, a certain amount of subscribers, and all of that's just been an enormous amount of
It's
fun.
been
I mean, for
great.
me, I'll just say, for me, doing this kind of thing is a creative outlet. It's something
Mhm.
that I can kind of pour my energy into, and it ends up being a kind of form of self-care. And that might seem strange because it's like work, but it's
Yeah.
working on something that I feel passionate about and something that I really love the end result of, and I get to play a game that I love along the way. So
Yep.
all of those things factor into it. So
And not to toot our own horn, but man, I really dig our content. I randomly listen to older episodes just because I enjoy it that much. Uh so yeah, I think we're doing great. The only thing that we didn't really get to is the creator badges because the time I realized we had to apply for them, it was already too late to apply. So because I'm pretty sure I bought my tickets like day one, and you had to submit your application for the creator content badge 2 or 3 months before that. So I think that's something we're gonna look into for Atlanta after we get home from Chicago.
yeah.
So we'll have to keep that on our little list.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the barrier for entry is, like
Right.
what it really takes to kind of qualify for that, because I think there's just something to that, I think, than being involved in that way. So
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna find out what our goals for this event is and then how different they were from last year. So Tim, what are your goals? And tell me, why are they the same as last year?
they aren't, believe
Okay,
it or
fair
not.
enough.
Especially for me,
What?
I think that for me it's a little bit different because we were, we were kind of tentatively hatching ideas
Mhm.
on the way there, but we really kind of fully formed it as we were coming back. So, I kind of had some sense of the direction that we were going, but now we have something that is established, meaning the Head Games brand is established. We've got, kind of logos and a name and something that we can kind of give out to people to maybe get some more traction. So I think kind of promoting our channel is actually pretty high up on my list of things I want to do this year. And I wasn't really doing that at all last year because I
Right.
didn't have something necessarily to promote. I could support you because you were kind of, you had your own channel and you were
Mhm.
kind of the face of the content at that point. So like I could support you, but I wasn't really actively promoting. And
Right.
now that we have those things established, now I kind of can. And I think that that's an area where I can kind of use some of my communication strength to be able to help with that and to grow the brand a little bit. It sounds so businessy when I say it like that, but really I just
I
want to
mean,
get our
that's what
reach
this
out
is,
there
though.
and
That's
mhm.
exactly what
I just
this
really
is.
want I want to get our name out there a little bit, and what a great opportunity to do so. Like this is a fantastic, and the other thing that really comes up for me is that I was a little honestly not happy that we were going back to Chicago, not because I didn't like it or any
Right.
of those things, but because 2 years ago it was in Philly, and that's much closer and more
So
accessible,
closer.
so much easier.
By
But
the way,
we
go
have
birds. By the way, go
yeah,
birds.
yeah. By the way, go birds. And uh, the we know Chicago now, meaning we
Mhm.
know the convention center. We have the lay of the land. Chances are it's going to be relatively similar to what it was last year.
Right.
So we want them to do as much figuring out how things work. We'll be able to dive right in and really, kind of get right into the action. So,
Right.
my goals last year were just play as many games as I can, have fun, maybe get to meet some people. But I think kind of socializing and rubbing elbows is a little bit higher up on my list this year.
Agreed.
And also, like I said, kind of getting our name out there and seeing who we can kind of get to tune in.
Right, right. So a lot of my goals are very similar to that extent, and like these goals are not just going to Chicago to meet people. Like I've actually like I haven't been to an LGS, like I could honestly say, for like 10 years. Like, and I finally started going to an LGS in our area, and the people there are great, and I'm gonna try to show face there once a week if I can. And like we got fancy business cards. I'm not gonna be like, oh, check out my channel before I even like get to know these people. But like these things kind of come up like organically. Like we're just talking about magic because we're a bunch of magic nerds. And hey, sometimes my like dropping the subtle hints, but not like cramming it down people's throats. I think I'm up for the challenge, and really looking forward to seeing what this. And like also like one thing that I want to kind of do is like I watch a lot of magic content on YouTube and stuff. And I'm not very good at leaving comments on videos. I'm going to be completely honest. But what I want to do is I want to start watching videos through the Head Games YouTube channel and just jumping in part of the communities by leaving comments on videos and kind of make ourselves known, not just through our content, but just being a part of the community as a whole. And I'm not going to be like, oh, on Command Zone's video, hey, check out our videos. It's just going to be like, hey, I love the video, keep up the great work. And it's not going to be like trying to get people to come to our channels, but it's just to say, hey, I'm here and we're here to have a good time. And that's all it is.
Yeah, we've talked about this, like this kind of principle a little bit, and listen, if you know where I'm going to pull this idea from. I'm not going to get into too much detail about it, but there's a principle that goes like this, and it's attraction rather than promotion, right?
Mm-hmm.
This idea that like I don't actually have to go out and actively promote myself. I can just be myself and
Yep.
engage with the community, and by doing so people will notice, and so we can be a little more subtle in that situation because we have card sleeves with our logo on it. We got some very pretty play mats that we're going to play on while we're there, and with two of us having matching play mats, it's an icebreaker. It definitely begs the question, what is that? And then you can mention to people that we do have a YouTube channel and we're kind of amateur content creators, and if they're interested at that point, they can ask. And if they're not, you can just let it go.
Right.
But really, my hope is to just go out and be fun, to be a kind of voice for joy and fun in the community, such that people kind of build that connection with
Mm-hmm.
you during a game, and at the end of it they're like, oh, this is great. I would look forward, maybe we'll see each other again sometime, and then at that point you can say, well, you can actually see me as often as you'd like, because I have this,
Yep.
I have this online content that you can kind of take a look at. So the idea being, like I said, attraction rather than promotion means that I can just be the best version of myself, be fun to be around, be the kind of person that I want other people to be in the community, and that will attract people to you, and thereby making promotion not really necessary.
Yeah, I think that's the next course of action, and I think that's what my goals are more leaning towards these days.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
super exciting.
Yeah. And I think that like we've definitely gotten to a point now where I think to kind of grow further than we already have. I think the reach of our kind of local community and the people that we
Mhm.
know and the people that they know, we've kind of hit that plateau now where we may slowly start to grow, but going to these large events gives us the opportunity to kind of really engage with the larger community and maybe get our name out there a little bit. And
Yeah,
we just get to meet people. I just
dude,
remember so
I'm
many of the games last year, and like how like there
almost
were there
every
were a
single
couple.
one. There was something that just amazing happened.
It's true, and some amazing people. There was a couple of times where we ended up playing multiple games with some
Right?
people, and because we were just having such a good time, and that's really why most of us are here, and why why we play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried about the success of the channel, but I'm just here to have fun. And if we get
Hmm.
big, that's amazing. If we don't, I'm still gonna be here talking about Magic the Gathering. So
That's that's true. We'll just keep turning the lights on for you.
yeah, I
So
got fancy new ones too.
the next question is really kind of it kind of just flows. It segues right off of the back of the last one, which talk about how our goals are perhaps different. So I'm curious if you've thought about what practical actions you might take to get more out of the event this time, especially considering that we're going to the same place, that the timeline is similar. Like, what do you think that you can do that will help you have a more fulfilling experience, or maybe cut down on any kind of bad feels or stuff like that?
So I'm going preemptively with the list of cards that I want to buy.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to just buy them on day one and not have to worry about the merchants ever again.
Okay.
Step two of this plan, if they had the content creator corner like they did last year, I'm going to try to squeeze all my games near that, because I really enjoy bumping elbows with content creators. I have a deck where it's signed by a whole bunch of content creators. So just getting as many signatures as I can, having a better note taking system so I can actually remember what half the signatures are. Uh, but
Yeah.
but
Or a better note taking system, you say, perhaps a note taking system,
well, it's better than the one I currently have. So
which is to say nothing.
none. Right, exactly. So a list is better than nothing at all.
Then no
So
list. That's right.
the working progress, baby. So yeah, so my goal is more to play more games and then just have fun with people. And I'm not gonna try. I'm really not gonna try to be like one game with a player and then find another group. I am gonna, like, if the feeling's right, I'm obviously gonna read the room, right? If we're jiving, we're like, hey, you want to get another quick game in? Yeah, I'm not gonna get up and walk away from having a good time. Um, so I'm totally down to play multiple games with the same people.
Hmm.
But I'm trying to play with as many different people as possible as well.
Right.
Um, so just to kind of see how well certain decks hold up in different scenarios, just to see how memey one of my decks can be. Like,
Yep.
it, there's multitude of reasons why I want to play as many people and as many different commanders to play against. Uh, so that's really the goal, is just buy everything day one and then try to bump elbows with as many people as humanly possible.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And really like when I think about getting all the shopping and stuff out of the way, I think that like it depends on the person's an individual's personality, right? Like some people really love that aspect of it, of just like kind of poking around and looking at all the different stuff, and that's really part of it for them. It's just not so much for me, and I don't think it is for you either. Like I'm
Usually
not
not,
really
right?
there. Like we agree that like the novelty, like, because we buy cards all the time at local game
Right,
stores, and on the various online platforms that would be
right.
happy to sponsor us in the right
Please.
circumstances. Yeah. So that part of the experience just isn't very much there for me. So getting that out of the way, anything that you do want to buy, just getting that stuff taken care of
Yeah.
early on makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, and like I could see myself doing a little bit of perusing, maybe like day 3 or something, figure out how much money I have left, because I don't know how much money I'm bringing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's really based off of like how much tips I make in my job. Um, so please tip your delivery drivers,
Yeah.
especially in the
Yeah.
next week and a half. if you're
Yeah,
in my
if you
area.
yeah, if you happen to be geographically in the area where he gets to live.
Please tip your drivers. Oh, the reason why I bring it up is I delivered only 2 deliveries on Super Bowl because I was supposed to manage. Didn't realize I was, but I got stiffed both times on Super Bowl Sunday.
On Super Bowl Sunday, the holiest of holy days.
Yep, I took 2 deliveries and made $0.
Sacrilegious. That's offensive on
Hey,
a lot of levels.
hey, it happens, and my wife was amazing and put like a angry Facebook message on Super Bowl
I saw
Sunday. It
that.
was the
Oh,
best
she's
thing ever. Thing.
what a supportive partner. That's amazing.
Tip your damn drivers. It was the best.
I thought of a couple of things, and I approached this question a little bit differently because I was the one that wrote the question, surprising no one.
Yeah.
So like I'm often thinking of how to and you can call it min-maxing if you want. Like I always try to think of how can I make an experience meaningful? And part of that for me is kind of respecting my own boundaries. Because one of the things that definitely happened with me last year is I was just straight up overwhelmed by the amount of people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And really I think everybody has a tipping point where it's like, oh, I can be in a crowd for a certain amount of time. And I think that my threshold for that of actually being in a crowded space with a bunch of other human beings is probably lower than your average bear or bull or White Sox. And so I have to kind of respect that. And one of the things that I want to work on is kind of building in downtime, like building in time where I'm actually just going to either try to find the quietest space I can or just get the hell out of there for a little while.
Yeah.
Like rather than just trying to tough it out for 12 hours at a clip or whatever it is on those first couple of days, I think it makes a lot of sense for me to go, I'm going to go into the convention center, spend this many hours, and then I'm going to take a break for a little while and I'm going to go do something else. And then I will
That's
come
a
back
really
later.
good idea.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people could benefit of that because the idea is that would you rather have 12 hours where you're getting like a C grade experience because you just wear yourself out in the process, or would you rather get 8 hours of an A grade experience
Right.
because you got a little bit of rest in between? And I am the latter. I would rather have a more high. I am absolutely quality over quantity when it comes to this. I don't think that the amount of time you spend is necessary, and that's just me. That I mean, I think that there are
Right.
a lot of people who really, if you're extroverted and you love being in that high volume space, like if that's how you recharge, fantastic. This is your spot. This is your moment.
It's
It
true.
ain't me. So building in a little bit of downtime. And the other thing, like just in our travel plans, we decided not to, to travel a day early before we get
Yep.
there and to travel a day late on the way back so we don't have to leave early on the third day. And I think that really like taking the rush, the
Right.
urgency out of the front and back end of the trip is going to allow us to be more present mentally,
Mm-hmm.
um
Mm-hmm.
through the whole thing, kind of raising the level of our ability to engage with the situation. So like I think that those are things that like we are collectively doing differently
Yeah.
to maybe make the event a little bit more meaningful.
Yeah. Even just taking the different mode of transportation that we're thinking about doing
That's true.
makes it a whole lot better because like just like saving that it's amazing how you wouldn't think 4 hours is a whole lot of time until you're in a small car and
The difference was
having that extra 4 hours. And what makes it worse is like you don't get progress for 40 minutes at a time every 3 hours or so. So like it seems like you're not going anywhere, even though clearly you are. It just makes it seem so much longer. And the fact that I had to be a 40-minute wait and not like a 10 or 15-minute wait just makes like if it charged perfectly in 20 minutes, that would be like ideal. But that's not what happens here.
Right. And so like taking those things and taking your travel plans into consideration, like and again to some extent that's a luxury. Like we are able to do
Mhm.
that based on where we are in our lives right now, and that's fantastic. It's really
Right.
amazing that we have supportive people in our life who like let us go jaunt off at least once a year, sometimes more, to go to these gigantic events that are
Hmm.
costly and really kind of strange to the
Hmm.
to the untrained eye. But we have the remarkable kind of blessing of being
Right.
able to do that. So just trying to figure out how to make the most out of the experience without also kind of burning ourselves out in the
Yeah.
process. Because then it just like I just know myself, and it's like I absolutely
Yeah.
need to build in time where I can just say, okay, that now it's time for me to go do something else for a little while in a place that is quieter, so that I'm not just surrounded by intensity and light
Yeah.
and noise.
And honestly, like the best way to almost do that is like when we're about to have lunch, instead of just getting from the food carts that are in the room, just
Yeah.
leave and go to a restaurant or something. I know
Yep.
restaurants can be loud and crazy and super exciting and stuff as well, but like you're
Oh,
getting you're
by
getting
comparison, they're not.
right, you're getting that fresh air on the way there. You're not bumping crazy elbows all the time. You're not like saying, "Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, I have to find my way through." Like just having that relief will make your life so much better. And what that also will do is I feel like last year we kind of like left like earlier, like it was after the event was closed, but like they kept the doors open until like 10 p.m. We're leaving at 8, but like that might mean we stay a little later. We might stay until they say, "Hey, get the hell out of here."
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Right. If
like
you get it, it's like building siesta in the middle of the day, like
right.
having a little downtime, having a little nap.
Yep.
I mean, I don't nap, but some people do. You get the idea.
Oh, I
Like,
nap when I can.
having that little rest time in the middle of the day actually does mean that we could potentially stay later at the end of the day. And I'm definitely here for it.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're on question 4 now, right? Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, question 4. My
This is
favorite
it. This
question.
this
All
is
right.
it.
So here's the question that we all came here to see. What commander decks are you bringing? And I don't want to know why it's not being inferred either. Just tell me and then we're going on.
No, that's we're gonna talk about why as well.
Oh, I
Uh,
tried.
we didn't plan it this way, but let's go back and forth.
Sure, I
I think
like that idea a lot.
I think that what we did is we each picked four, and I think that there's a very real chance that these are not the only four that we
Right.
take. But we kind of went through our collection. I think I have off the top of my head, I think I have 14 commander
Uh
decks.
I mean, yeah, I think you're right. So you have 10 for each, one for each color
Yeah,
pairing, a colorless 5 color,
a 5 color, and then
and Sultai.
I've got two tricolor pairs now because I built the Esper Duskmorn Commander.
Oh, right. So yeah,
Aminatu. So I have four. So I have 14. How many do you think you do have approximately?
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
For the viewers that are
17,
watching, you can see
18,
how organized he is because he
19,
had to
20,
look in
21,
several different
22,
directions.
23. It's a lot better than it was. Well, so okay, over here on the right is the ones I use more frequently, right? The ones
Sure.
that are behind me are decks that didn't fit in the thing that's next to me, but I have them still.
Okay. So it's, upwards of 20.
Yes. Yes.
Now I didn't count the four pre-builts I have from Baldur's Gate that I keep in their own thing because those are for a different event.
Oh,
Um,
I totally well, I have 4 precons that are currently sealed.
Okay. Okay. So point being, I have 14. You boy over here's got 20 plus. So we just picked the 4 that we, kind of definitely top of the list. Must includes.
Yep.
Very fair likelihood that you may see others if you run into
Right.
us at the event. But we'll go back and forth and talk about the, these decks that we're going to bring. So the first one for me is what I commonly refer to as H and K. This is Hidetsugu and Kairi.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Dimir commander that when it enters you brainstorm, and when it dies you look at the top, you reveal the top card. If it says you do damage equal to its mana value, if it's an instant or sorcery, you get to cast it for free. So this is, I think, one of my most original decks. I haven't. It's not to say that nobody else in the world plays it, but I haven't seen anybody else play it. And I think that I have a lot of fun playing it. It's like kind of solving a puzzle every time I play it, kind of waiting for the right time and trying to make sure that it goes off in such a way where it can win. But it's kind of my favorite. It's one of my favorite decks because it follows my play style really well, which is I don't make a lot of noise early on. And then since you're not paying very much attention to me, I suddenly win out of nowhere. And it does exactly that. So I have a lot of fun playing it. I've had a lot of positive feedback on Spell Table from people who have seen it. So I look forward to bringing that. And it's had a couple of upgrades in the last year. There's some very cool new cards in it, like Ancient Cellar Spawns. So I'm excited to bring that to the event.
So 2 quick things on this deck. One is I think that you built yours pretty uniquely in the sense that it's not as broken as it could be with the extra turns shenanigans that you could really do with this thing, which is a refreshing taste. And 2, again, it's not a very popular commander. Like every time that I see it, it's just exciting to see how it goes off. But it kind of reminds me of my door deck a little bit, where it's like, why are you attacking me? I haven't done anything. Oh wait, I win.
Yep.
Oh wait, I win.
That's why.
Okay, so I kind of mentioned it already. So the first deck that I'm bringing is Garth One-Eyed, which is my Door to Nothingness deck. And that is going to go to every event I ever go to, so I can get content creators to sign as many of those cards as humanly possible. And do you know how hard it is to cut Ugin the Spirit Dragon from your list when it's signed by BZ? It's hard. I didn't want to do it, but like I got rid of a lot of the colorless cards, and that board wipe is not as good when it's taking out your important pieces too.
Yeah, sad but true.
It was a sad day. BZ,
we will.
If when you watch this, I need you to comment, and you need to find me in Chicago, and you need to sign 2 more cards. Okay. BZ, you get the exception. So the rule is, if I run into you once, you get to sign a card. But if I run into you again, you get to sign another card. So, but since I removed one of your cards from last year, BZ, I need you to sign a card to replace it, okay?
Yeah. That's only fair.
It's only fair. Which, by the way, go check out their content. They're pretty amazing. They didn't pay me to say that.
Nitpicking nerds.
The nitpicking nerds, yes.
Yeah, who don't.
They're good people.
Aren't in the know.
They're good people.
Okay. My second deck is Tom Bombadil, who talks too much. So this is a 5-color commander from Lord of the Rings. It's basically Saga tribal. Like it's all the sagas from across the multiverse. I like the deck a lot because it has a multiversal feeling to it. Because sagas are something that they commonly reprint in the universes beyond, because it's a great way to tell stories.
Yep.
So and that's one of the things that I very much like about the deck, is that over time it changes, and as they print more sagas, the quality of sagas goes up overall. It's got a bit of an Enchantress sub theme to it, which makes the deck like tick and actually be effective. And I don't think that it's very powerful because it's just so many game actions and can be very convoluted. It's just a lot of fun. I like the deck a lot because it feels like you're doing a lot, even if maybe you're not so much. But I get to play with a lot of different cards, and that deck really does feel like having a different experience each time you play it. I like that about it a lot.
And then don't forget, the princess is going to take flight, and then she's going to take flight again, and then she's going to do it again. And do not leave your commander underneath that card.
Yeah, don't leave your commander out of the princess takes flight.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
It was a bad idea.
Ask him how he knows.
There's a whole episode about that. Anywho,
Links in the description.
I'll have to find it. Anywho, my next deck is also on the theme of the multiverse, and that is Princess Buttercup's tour guide of the multiverse. You have to bring a meme list, and this is my favorite one. So every card in the list that aren't lands, because I already had a 5-color mana base, and I wasn't going to make another one. It gets expensive. So every card is from a Universe Beyond set. So my Soul Ring has a Universe Beyond art. I have a Birds of Paradise, but it's called either African Swallow or European Swallow. I'll let you decide when we're there. There is a win con in that deck. That's amazing. And I have a deck built around that win con. It's called the Bridge of Death. I don't know if you guys have heard of this card. But it says target player loses the game. Now, I will say Princess Buttercup does not do it as well as Garth.
No.
Definitely not.
Mm-mm.
In fact, the only time that deck did it, I said green. No, wait, blue. And then I went flying. True story. You'll have to watch my streams to see more. Hashtag shameless self-promoting. Wait, weren't we talking about not doing that?
Yeah. Well, it's okay because we're on here. Like this is.
Oh wait, it's our show. We can do whatever we want.
It's our show. We can do what we want. Yeah.
Oh, great. All right. So, what's your next deck?
I gotta tell you, as I'm saying the decks that I'm taking, I'm immediately like that. Like I feel like I'm picking my favorite kids, and all of my other kids are in the background, like with sad faces. Like, why aren't you picking me? And I'm thinking about all of these and going, man, there are some of my decks that I love really well, but I'm gonna go with the 4 that I picked instead of changing midstream. So the third deck that I'm definitely going to bring is Gitrog the Ravenous Ride. So this is my newest Golgari deck. Devotees will know that Golgari colors are probably my favorite 2-color combination. I've had a lot of Golgari decks over time, but I always like to rotate decks. I do different, I like to build new decks all the time, so I often retire older decks. And this is just the newest iteration of the Golgari deck, and it's a very, very funny one because it's kind of a creature powers matters. And it really is incredibly explosive. So it plays very differently than, there's a lot of similarity to other Golgari decks, but the commander itself having haste and doing the things that it does. It's a lot of fun. It really is, and it can be very explosive. So, it does the big things that we like to see in Commander. So it's my favorite color pair. So Gitrog's coming.
And you know what? And that card just says draw 11 cards on it. Okay.
It does.
Any card that says that is good in my book. Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna go into my next one, and this is a deck that I built just for MagicCon Chicago 1.0. And now that it is MagicCon Chicago 2.0, we're getting Indominus Rex Alpha 2.0. There's been a couple of upgrades since I went to Chicago last year. The mainly is the 6 keyword soup guy. That's his name, and you're not going to tell me it's Sire of Insanity or whatever his name is.
It's the Sire of 7 deaths, and 7 keywords.
Well, 6 that I care about.
That's right.
No one cares about Ward.
One.
No one cares about Ward.
That's untrue.
Okay. I don't care about Ward.
Yeah, Indominus Rex Alpha doesn't care about Ward.
So if he doesn't, I don't. And Indominus Rex Alpha is a girl, I think. So I am very wrong on this one.
Right.
It's the first and only time I've been wrong. Just so you guys know. You heard it here first.
First and onlyest.
Yep. It's a true story. I totally drew cards every time I used Black Panther's ability and everything too.
Yeah, Indominus Rex is like it is a deck type that I actually don't see a whole heck of a lot. There are certainly other commanders that kind of exist in the same world, but this one just it does what you are always looking to do, and it draws you a whole bunch of cards.
Wait. It says draw a whole bunch of cards. Oh wait, that's why I love it so much.
We just covered this. Yes, that if it draws a bunch of cards in the command zone, it is for our friend over here.
Yeah, it's true story. True story. All right, we got one last one from you.
My last must include is my favorite 3-color combination, at just like the card that you just talked about. But this is the Wise Mothman. I think that my Wise Mothman can be a really competitive commander. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm a whale and that I have a lot of good cards and that I put a lot of good cards in my Mothman deck, but it's not finely tuned, and I honestly don't play with a lot of like tutors or like game winning combos or things of that nature. It just really is trying to make the Wise Mothman as big as possible and beat people to death with it. So it's not overly complicated, but I really do love a Sultai deck that dumps stuff into the graveyard. I may have snuck a Valgavoth in there, the Terror Eater that steals things from other people's graveyards. I haven't played it in person yet, so I'm really hoping we get to see it. Maybe I'll break out my super rare printing of Valgavoth and put that into the deck just to get some oohs and ahs.
You should.
I should.
But you also have to, every time you play it, you have to be like, this super fancy Valgavoth. Sort of like how I would be like, I'm playing Ugin the Spirit Dragon signed by BZ.
Yeah, I mean the one that's in there is the pre-release promo, so it's not too bad as it is, but I have an even cooler one. So yeah, Mothman's just a lot of fun for me. I love the self-milling shenanigans for graveyard value, so I think that deck's a lot of fun.
And you became your own worst enemy. You're milling your opponents to death.
Well, the deck doesn't deliberately mill people to death, and I've never won by milling somebody out in that deck. And I mean, I do not like getting milled to death. It's true. But I do like self-milling myself so that I have graveyard value.
Yeah. So why put it in the graveyard when you can just put it into your hand? It's so much more fun. Who cares about reanimation spells?
Because unless you have something that says otherwise, you have a hand limit.
Yeah, just have very high but limited mana. That's what I've decided is the best way to take care of that problem.
So all the cards and all the mana means you win?
Whoa, who would have thought that? Who had the most cards and the most mana can win games?
You just broke the meta.
It's official. It's official.
Somebody write it down.
Yeah, there is something about me just going from like 7 mana to 200 mana in one turn that I like to do.
Yeah.
Because it's so unexpected. And it's always fair. It is always fair. It's never infinite, Tim. Never. Anywho, we're going to talk about my last deck that I'm bringing. Now, as we said earlier, I do plan on maybe bringing more. I think I'm going to bring one more. I think 5 is the magic number. But we're going to have a birthday celebration because my birthday is the week before. My birthday is on Sunday, and we're going to Chicago on Thursday. So we're going to be celebrating, baby, with Bilbo. Birthday celebrant. I was hoping you guys figured out what I was talking about way beforehand. But no, this deck's just a lot of fun, man. I like playing a lot of creatures, and I like gaining a fair amount of life. And we are going to try to have more than one celebration this weekend because I've only celebrated once. Only once.
I wonder if you'll be able to like socially pressure people into letting you get away with this, because this deck is notorious for getting most of the way there, but not actually getting the party.
Dude, I get to the life total, and then you're just like, I'm going to kill your commander. Well, dang it. I'm going to kill your commander again, Steve.
I mean,
Eh,
everybody knows that like all you have to do is resolve that and you win. So
yeah,
like
I know more haste enablers, blah blah blah, but I'm gaining life in a fair way. Okay, you let this
you
happen.
you keep saying that.
Everything I do is fair, Tim.
Mm, by definition, because you said so.
It's true. And remember, I'm always right. So,
So those are the must includes. Those are the decks we're definitely bringing. Probably see some more from time to time because I don't think I can leave Jolene behind. I don't know why I didn't think to put it in the top four, but that's definitely a great one to play. So, last couple of things to wrap up. I'm curious to know, like, what do you think about like this kind of event? Because Magic Cons have really become kind of a presence in the community, and they are a thing that people are kind of looking forward to, and it really does kind of feel like this great gathering of minds now. So, how do you think that these kind of big events are they good for the Magic community? Are there, what are the pluses and minuses? What do you think?
well, I don't think they would ever be bad for the community. I don't think getting a whole bunch of nerds into one room could ever be like completely awful. I mean, nuclear bombs do exist. Um, and a bunch of nerds got into a room to figure that out. But we're just talking about some cardboard, right, guys? Like, I think we're
Right.
safe. I think we're safe. No, I think it's great for the community. I think it's great for small content creators. I think it's great for big content creators. I think it's just great for people in general. Like, because again, it gets people out, it gets people to meet new people, and I don't think there's ever been a point in time where meeting new people has been bad.
Yeah, everybody in like we've only been to the two kind of first quarter Magic Cons for the past two
Mm-hmm.
consecutive years. This will be the third year for us, and both of the other experiences were, widely positive. And I can't think of, didn't really feel like I had a negative interaction with anybody or games that were even like, that felt in any way contentious. It really seemed like everybody was just there to have a good time. Now, we're not playing at competitive tables, and we're not doing pay to play events or anything like that. We are really actually just playing casual
Yep.
games. And that has an impact on that. I think we talk a lot about the difference between, and I'm not actually talking about CEDH per se. Like really, even at this kind of event, you can do kind of a paid
Mm-hmm.
game where you're buying tickets and everybody puts it in, and the winner actually does walk away with prize at that point. That definitely changes the way that you play.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, and Zombie and I are because of being content creators, but even just because of the way that we enjoy the game, we really are here to kind of see if everybody can get their engines going. Okay, if everybody can start their engines.
He said the thing.
And because I want that, I want everybody to have a good time and to kind of see their deck do what they want it to do. And in this kind of setting, you can really see that. You can really see
Right.
everybody kind of having that fun, casual experience, and you have the opportunity to play, like you said, with a lot of different people in a very short amount of time. And it also occurs to me that like we have so many decks, and even though we don't take all of them to the event because it would be, it makes no sense
Unruly.
to do so.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we get to play, more games in a very short amount of time than we do at any other time of year. Like we really get to like session and just, crack out some
Yeah.
games in a way that we just don't otherwise have time to. So get a lot of get a lot of experience playing these decks that maybe we don't get to see all the time, and then playing against decks that we've never played against before, and seeing how our decks do against all these different kinds of commanders. All of that I really love as a player, first and foremost. So I do like when you have I do like that as a value of this big kind of event.
I was gonna throw in a Fast and the Furious joke, but you kind of got past the start your engines things. I was like,
Mm,
it's gonna be all about family. That's the most important thing. But
yep,
it's a little late.
that's
But it's still here anyway, so laugh. If I don't get a lull in a comment, I know you still aren't watching. Okay. So if you're here, please put a lull in the comments. We're gonna get to the YouTube things here. No, yeah. As you said, I think it's great for the community just to go out, have a good time. I mean, of course, you're gonna always have that one person that you might run into that's not having a great day or got mana screwed, so that particular game might not be the best. But like, that's gonna be like the smallest part of the whole weekend. That one or two games like that out of hopefully like 20 games over the course of the whole weekend. Like, we're talking about a minor blip on the radar.
It's true.
So I'm super stoked and can't wait to go. So yeah. So I guess that would be what are the things we're looking forward to most, right?
Yeah, well, this is it. This the final question.
The final question. We got there, people. So what are you looking forward to most, Tim? Because I have to think about this. So get to talking.
You're happy I'm answering first. That's
hell yeah,
yeah. I am very much looking forward to kind of using that attraction rather than promotion idea to maybe get more people to tune in, and really, like you had mentioned earlier, that I'm not really concerned with like getting huge or having it be anything. I just actually want to expand our reach a little bit.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm interested in doing, and not for like monetary gain, but because I want more people to see what we are doing so that we can kind of build ourselves our own kind of niche community. Like, I see a lot, because I'm semi involved in some of these other content creator communities and the circles that they kind of have running around them. And it's very cool to me. Like, we do have some people on our Discord, but they're not super active at this point. We have a couple people who are quite active, but it's just a few, right? And as that gets bigger and bigger, we really will be able to play Commander on Spell Table with the people in our Discord that we have met at these MagicCons and create this sense of community, and that's all very attractive to me. So I'm really looking forward to playing on a Head Games playmat at the same table with you, so that people can see that that we are what we are doing and ask about it, and we can tell them about it and maybe pick up some more subscribers while we are there. But first and foremost, I'm just really excited to get a bunch of Commander games in that big setting.
Yeah, so the thing that I'm looking forward to most, to be honest with you, is I have been lucky. Every event I've been able to get at least one game with a content creator. I'm going to see if we can keep the streak alive. And I'm hoping I can get more than just one game, but I'm not going to be upset if I don't get a game, because I'm looking for one person or a couple of people in a sea of people. So even just getting highs and signatures is enough for me, but like, it would be cool if I can just say, yo, you want to sit down and play a game real quick? Like, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily seek it, but I would be very pleased to do it. Like, there are a couple in particular, a couple of content creators that I consider to be, top of my list favorites, people I really love to watch and who I think would be really fun to sit down and play a game with. And I think that just about anybody who's a fan of that kind of content probably would look forward to that on some level. So I would not look that gift horse in the mouth. I would definitely be excited to do that. So hopefully the stars will line up for us in that way as well.
Yeah, one can hope. Oh,
have we talked enough about MagicCon Chicago? Are we ready to go?
No, I think we have another 45 minutes to this episode we have to record.
Have you packed a sweater?
Have I packed a sweater?
Did you?
I plan on wearing nothing but gym shorts and t-shirts.
That does sound like you.
Gym shorts and t-shirts.
You are the gym shorts guy, even in the middle of winter in Chicago.
You'd never know. Well, the first day we were there last year, it was like 60 degrees. And then later that night, it snowed. And then I broke my toe. So my goal for honestly this year is to not break any bones.
Don't break any bones. It's a great goal.
It's a good goal. So next time when we get delivery, you can go down into the lobby.
You got it. You got it. All right, friends, opponents, time for us to put our seats in the full upright position and prepare for takeoff. Thank you kindly for spending time with us on the Head Games Commander podcast. Remember, you can support this show and all of our other content by watching this and other videos on our YouTube page and by checking out our streams on Twitch and YouTube. You can find those links in the description.
But before we scoop things up, we want to hear from you, the think tank. Are you going to MagicCon Chicago? Which content creators are you looking forward to seeing? And why is it us? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for playing along with us. And have a wonderful day. Bye. Bye.